Hello, hello, hello. This is More Immigration Solutions. My name is Ayo Uyanga, and today I will actually be discussing a topic which a lot of you have sent me an emails in regards to. Sent me emails in regards to, and that will be transiting from a visitor to either a student or a worker. That is, if you want to change your visitor's visa from visiting visa to a student visa or a work visa, is this if this is possible. That has been a lot of your questions, and I will say yes, it is possible, but it is a bit challenging, and I'll explain. So for instance, for those of you that are thinking of coming in as a visitor or changing your status from a visitor to a student visa to a student, um I need you to bear it in mind. It's still the same requirement. Nothing has changed, regardless of you being physically in Canada or not. You still need to prove a tie to your home country. You still need to show that you have the finances to take care of yourself. You need a year tuition fee plus about 10,000 for your feeding and accommodation fee. So on the average, you still need to have about 20 to 22,000 Canadian dollars in your account. So you still need to know the basic requirements. You still need to get a letter of admission in, regardless of you being physically in Canada or not. So know that for sure. Nothing is still going to change based on the requirements. But another thing you need to know is most countries you cannot apply within Canada. So, for example, I'll use Nigeria as a point because I have a lot of people sending me emails from Nigeria or calling me to find out this from Nigeria. So, if you are in Nigeria or you are in Canada visiting on a Nigerian passport and you want to change from visiting to a student, from a visitor to a student, you have to apply outside of Canada. Yes, you're physically in Canada, but you cannot submit your application in Canada. So having said that, you can send your application to US or you can send your application to Nigeria. The choice is yours. But I will warn you, if you're sending your application to US, I suggest you get a US visa. Reason being said, the reason I am suggesting that is because a lot of my clients that have applied to US are required to come in person for one thing or the other, which I don't understand why. Although you're sending your application through the VSF or VFS office, but sometimes they'll tell you to come in person, that you need to get your fingerprint themselves. So they always find one reason or one excuse or the other for you to come in person. So bear that in mind. So if you have to apply in Canada and you're sending an application to US, I strongly suggest to get a US visa. And getting a US visa, it's a lot easier in Canada if you do meet all the requirements anyways. Another thing I will tell you is, if you're planning to go take a 6-month course or a 6-month program, 6 months or less than 6-month program, you do not need a study permit. As long as you have a valid stay in Canada, you do not need a study permit to take a 6-month program or less. But if you're planning on using the program you're taking in Canada to apply under the Canadian Experience class to become a permanent resident, then you cannot use that program. So you have to find something else. The requirements to qualify under that program, you need a minimum of 2 years work experience or education experience. So bear that in mind while you're making your decision. Then the next one is transiting from a visitor to a work permit. First and foremost, to work in Canada, you need a social insurance number. To get a social insurance number, you need to get a work permit. To get a work permit, you need to get a job offer. So if you do not have a job offer or you do not have a work permit, you cannot get a social insurance number for sure. And for you to actually get a job offer, your employer or your potential employer needs to be able to prove that they've actually searched everywhere in Canada, they did not find anybody that qualifies for the job, and they decide that they're going to give the job to a foreigner. So your potential employer would thereby apply for something called an LMIA for you, which is the Labor Market Impact Assessment. So once your employer is able to get a positive LMIA for you, then you can now use the positive LMIA to apply for a work permit. Then that work permit will enable you to apply for a social insurance number, be it a temporary social insurance number or a permanent social insurance number. Although as a foreigner, you can only get a temporary social insurance number. So it's that social insurance number that will enable you to work in Canada. I hope I'm able to answer most of your questions transiting from a visitor visa to a study visa or to a work permit. think before you make such decisions. Usually, even if you're in Canada and you want to work or you want to change your status, it's going to be difficult for that employer to actually says, okay, I found somebody in even if they do find you in Canada, they still have to go through same procedure as if you are out of Canada anyways. And I just encourage you, always make sure you have a valid status while in Canada. It makes any transition easy for whoever is taking up the process for you. So always remember, before your visitor's visa expires, you can always extend it. So try and extend it before it expires. Before your student visa expires, try and renew it. And if you're out of status for a while, you have about 90 days to restore your status. So always remember, it's better to be legal in Canada than to be illegal. Once your status expires, it is always difficult to reinstate it. Please bear that in mind. So I hope I'm able to answer most of your questions. Of everybody wondering if they can always transit from a visitor to a work visa, that has been most questions I have actually gotten. It is possible, but it's the same process as if you're not in Canada. Even though you're physically in Canada, you still have to be treated as if you're not in Canada, because you still consider a foreign national. So this is just a brief summary to the question. I hope I'm able to answer everybody's question. Remember, you can always send us an email, info@moreimmigrationsolutions.com. You can always give us a call, 780-669-1598. Please be very conscious of the time when you call. Please, you can send us a Facebook message. I try to respond to Facebook message within 48 hours. I will get back to you as much as I can. Like I said, I'm not working on eligibility test for now. It's on hold. Yes, I will see you guys next week, Wednesday. Have a great weekend coming up.